show that I've yet to really speak about on the channel, but one that holds an odd love in my heart is Invader Zim. For sure, I will cover it properly down the line, but for the love of Fringemas, I figured that we would cover the Christmas special of the show. The most horrible Xmas ever. What better way to celebrate the holiday season? I try to include some fun ones from the show not everyone was expecting and the ones that I distinctly remember. So today, let's take a look at this episode of Invader Zim and see why it's such a fun, weird, and interesting take on a Christmas-themed special. So welcome back, or hello for the first time, to the 25 Days of Fringemas, where I cover something interesting, nostalgic, or holiday-related every day from the 1st of December to the 25th, in order to find that holiday spirit I lost nearly a decade ago. So if you want to be a part of this daily journey and help me find that good old jolly joy, subscribe and come aboard. We open up on a special Santa cameo in the intro of the show. You can never go wrong with impressing me on a little opening intro detail. We enter Earth 2 million years into the future, where kids have cybernetics built into them and robots are sentient, like Frosty here, who is telling the kids Christmas tales. The kids, though, ask for the tale of the most horrible Xmas ever. Reluctant at first, but quickly changing his mind to do so, he begins the tale. Now we head back 2 million years into the past, where Zim is dressed as a human trying to earn money donations from actual humans, for Gur, who is dressed like a dog eating snow. Gur also eats the floating dialogue bubble that the snowman is telling the tale in. A very Invader Zim type of thing to do. Frustrated with not receiving any money, he notices one of the guys dressed up as Santa taking donations, something you would see outside of a grocery store during the holiday season. He goes and tackles him as he sees him as competition, but then notices that it's not just him. They're everywhere, on every block, doing the same thing, ringing that bell. So now, when at the mall where you can meet Santa, Gur, in disguise, starts asking for Santa for so much stuff and starts driving Santa insane. Zim calls out to Gur to now spring the trap as they capture the mall Santa and sneak him out of the mall and into their home lab. Fake Santa starts telling a different tale of Santa, where everyone is awaiting his return, as if Santa in general has disappeared and was once a real thing. Also, just the movement of his eyeballs not matching is a detail that makes me feel as equally uncomfortable as anything in Invader Zim as a series in general. I don't know why, but the eye stuff just makes me feel a bit uneasy, and I've had LASIK. So in order to start the process of learning about the holiday season and everything about Santa, he needs to drain this Santa's brain in order to enact his evil plan.
Clear the way for more Invader Zim coming up next here on Nicktoons.
It's time for Nicktoons Caught on Tape.
As we start looking through the information inside of fake Santa, we see a bunch of different things pop up, like, oh no, eggnog. The nog. It's back. And oh, call S-C-O. What's SCO? What's a SCO? Anyway, sorry about that. Weird stuff has been happening. If you've seen any of the content over the past few weeks, you already know that. Where were we? Ah, yes. Zim continues on to torture him for a long time, but at the same time, Dib is working on his alien spaceship, but hasn't gotten it to work yet. At one point, shutting down all the power on Earth because of it. But it's okay. His dad, Professor Membrane, has the master power switch of the whole planet and turns it back on, so that was easy. Gaz, however, is transfixed on the neighbor's dog, who 3 years ago ate the head off her doll, and she wants it back. This will be important later. For now, it's just gas things. Now it is shown, thanks to the news, that Zim is wearing a Santa outfit, flying around pretending to be him as the citizens of the world are excited over the fact that Santa has returned. Even the president steps aside to give Santa here full power. Dib notices right away that something is off and that it's another one of Zim's tricks. As far as Professor Membrane, he's not too excited for Santa's return. In fact, he hates the holly jolly red outfitted man for gypping him over a Christmas present back in the day. Sounds familiar. Back on the news, Santa Zim invites everyone to some massive gatherings he's hosting around the world, and at the main event itself, he takes to his massive throne on his massive stage for his massive gathering. If I say massive one more time, I may just stop the video right then and there. So back to the gathering, which by the way is massive. Well, that one's on me. Sorry about that, but we back, don't worry. His robot elves start singing a song and a holiday tune about obeying Santa and the implications that follow if you don't follow. So Zim then invents a new tradition, one where everyone has to go to the North Pole and help build a almost got me there, a giant teleporter, one that would send them to their doom. And the humans, well, they're easily convinced. But before ending the event, a bunch of kids want to see Santa and give them their wants for Christmas. So when they start jumping all over him, which almost seems like they're attacking him, his suit starts to malfunction from its protocol, where it gives Zim some of that holiday spirit to listen to the kids and start giving them stuff for Christmas. But only for a moment, as Zim breaks out of the trance and gets all the children off of him. Dib comes running out onto the stage to confront Zim and explain to the crowd that this is all just a trick and how foolish they are for falling for this being the real Santa. But the crowd doesn't believe him in the slightest, so they start chucking things at him, like a whole car. Seems like it had good crash test ratings. Zim then captures him and puts him in Jingle Jail, as he then proceeds his reign of holiday terror. What in the dictatorship is going on? Back in the future, we see the children critique the story being told as Frosty is like, hey bro, let me finish. So now we continue the story being told where Zim is now gearing up and flying out to the North Pole to enact his overall plan. Dib, however, breaks out of Jingle Jail as the bars were just candy canes. He steals an outfit from one of the robot elves and just shoves him aside. Zim, none the wiser, and for the sake of exposition dumps that villains like to do, thinks that Dib is one of the robot elves, where he reveals how the suit was made and what is going to happen. We learn that the suit has a mind of its own and it begins getting jolly at anything Christmas related, changing Zim's whole personality like we saw earlier, and well, again now thanks to Gurr. In this moment, Dib tries attacking him with a candy cane, but the suit just absorbs it, giving the suit more power in general. Zim breaks free once again from the hold it had on him, and then tosses Dib into a tougher Jingle Jail, and then drops him off somewhere in the Arctic. And his problem is quickly resolved as he calls Gaz and admits to her that the neighbor dog, well, it didn't really eat the head of her doll, but he used the head for an experiment which causes her to show up immediately to not only save him, but to beat him up. Now, at the North Pole, Zim invents a device that should hold back the suit's power when around anything Christmas related. And at first, seems like everything is working out great, so hey, good for him. Dib overall is excited that he got his ship to work, but really it was Gaz, the real hero here. But Dib calls into his dad, Professor Membrane, who usually would never give him the time of day, but once he mentions Santa, he actually does give him some attention and allows him to use some of his personal gadgets to get the job done.
Invader Zim is coming up next, right here on Nicktoons.
Invader Zim, only on Nicktoons Network. Not just cartoons, Nicktoons.
The teleporter is now ready, and Zim convinces the humans to give it a shot. And thanks to this guy tripping, we see the stuffed animal he was holding get transported right to the ship of the almighty tallest purple and the almighty tallest red, who are just as confused as we are as to what the heck just happened. His suit, however, is fighting back against the device, which fully pushes it out, turning him back into the holly jolly Zim once again. But now it's so powerful that it completely consumes him, trapping him in the liquid void of the inside of Santa, I guess? Dib shows up decked out with a powerful mech to attack him, but Santa doesn't like that one bit.
It became personal with me.
He now starts consuming all the Christmas stuff around him, turning him into this Christmas spider water noose looking monstrosity to take out the mech. Ah, nice, the holiday-based kaiju fight I've been waiting for. At one point, Santa expels some of the liquid inside of him, releasing Zim back out into the world. And big old Spider Santa here gets launched into space. Dib takes all the credit for this, which causes everyone to get angry for what he did to Santa. He then gives a compelling speech about that not being Santa and what Christmas is all about. But Zim became the Easter platypus and offers all the humans shrimp if they attack Dib, which they do. Hey, who can resist some good Easter shrimp in December, am I right? So everything ends in a big failure for everyone involved. Nothing is really learned, and we all enjoyed ourselves. Back in the future, Robot Jack Frost tells them that Santa now lives in space, getting stronger so that every year he can come back to Earth and attack once more. But that's why they've built in a protective dome to stop him now, as he's become a giant beast. The end. A very weird episode, but I am not surprised when it comes to Invader Zim. That show made weird cool and fun for so many. Its weirdness works because it's baked into every aspect of the show, from the art to the voice acting to whatever happens in an episode. Remember, he ate all the other kids' organs at one point? Yeah, this show either stuck with you because of its surreal nature or scarred you for life because of it. I like this Christmas special because it oozes that weirdness for the holiday that shouldn't or primarily doesn't have. You don't take away any big lessons, no one really really saves the day.
But they stopped Santa and he's now in space.
Yeah, but 2 million years from now, he's still coming back to Earth and attacking them all. So who really saved the day here? No one. And speaking of that, even the future, it looks even more bleak to live in than back in the modern day of Zim. It's dark, but it's fun. A nice look into a creative mind of ideas that in most any cases would never work here for the holiday spirit, but at least for me, really do. Will it get you into any sort of holiday spirit watching it? Maybe, if you were like I am, because of how contrasting this show and the episode are to what the holiday season is usually like and how other shows and cartoons portray it to be. For that alone, it belongs on my yearly watch list for the season, something that offsets the other stuff I'm watching and stands out so much more because of it. By no means is this the best episode from Invader Zim, but stacking it up against other Christmas and holiday specials, it definitely deserves a spot on the list. But what about you? What are your thoughts on this episode of Invader Zim? And would you watch this every year as part of your holiday watching traditions? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter, or else I'll send the Santa spider monster to your house. I'll see you tomorrow with another video for my next day of Fringemas. Check out the playlist to keep up with the month, but until then, later.